Henry Borynski, born the 8th of October 1910, was a Polish priest who served as Roman Catholic chaplain to the Polish community in Bradford in Yorkshire. He was last seen on the 13th of July 1953, and his sudden disappearance remains unsolved. Background: Henry Borynski was born in a small village outside Krakow to humble origins. He won a scholarship to the grammar school at Oswiecim. He received a degree in theology from the University of Krakow. Borynski was ordained as a Catholic priest in 1938. He escaped from German-occupied Poland in 1940. He became chaplain and teacher of religion at the Polish grammar school in Didington. Borynski was appointed chaplain to the Polish community of Bradford in Yorkshire from October 1952. With around 1,500 Polish refugees from communism in Bradford, it was the largest Polish émigré community in the north of England. Borynski was known for the anti-communist nature of his sermons. By all accounts, Borynski was well liked and respected by all those he came into contact with. Borynski replaced Canon Boleslaw Martin Ellis as priest to the Bradford Polish community. Martin Ellis claimed to have retired from his post due to health reasons. Martin Ellis had actually been removed from his post following complaints that he kept a mistress that he described as his niece. Martin Ellis entered into semi-retirement, but remained in Bradford and continued to perform Mass for the small local Lithuanian community. Borynski was one of several Yorkshire-based Polish chaplains who led protests in October 1952 against the activities of Soviet agents in the Bradford area. It was rumored that officials from the Soviet embassy in London had visited refugees' homes after dark, pressuring them to return to Eastern Europe. Refugees had also received letters pressuring them to return to their own countries. The night of the disappearance, Borynski received 2 telephone calls on the 13th of July 1953. Following the first telephone call, he visited Canon Martin Ellis. Martin Ellis later told reporters that Borynski had come to see him because he said he had received a telephone call from someone purporting to be speaking on his behalf. Martin Ellis had not phoned him, nor had authorized anyone to make the telephone call. Later in the evening, Borynski received a second telephone call from a man speaking Polish. Borynski was heard by his Polish housekeeper to speak in short, clipped sentences during the call, different from his normal cheerful disposition. Borynski reportedly said, "All right, I go." Borynski was not normally secretive, but he was reported to have taken the call in a low voice, with his hand cupped around the mouthpiece. He left his lodgings at Little Horton Lane hurriedly, wearing an overcoat and hat, which he rarely did on a summer's evening. Borynski left his wallet and personal papers at the house, and had 10 shillings on his person. Borynski was last sighted outside the entrance to St. Luke's Hospital in Bradford, just a few hundred yards from his home. Investigation: Borynski's disappearance was not reported until 2 days after he was last seen. Bradford police received assistance in the investigation from Scotland Yard and MI5. British police were alerted to look for Borynski, though they deemed it unlikely that he had been kidnapped. He was described as 6 feet, 180 centimeters tall, and weighed 14 stone, 200 pounds, 89 kilograms. Police found no evidence to indicate that Borynski had left Britain. Police confirmed that there was no evidence that Borynski had been a victim of a Russian assassin. Police ultimately came to the conclusion that Borynski's disappearance was not voluntary, but were unable to determine his whereabouts. An MI5 report disparaged the lead investigator of the case for Bradford Police, Superintendent Thomas Rushworth, who was described as physically on the eve of retirement, and mentally somewhat beyond it. Canon Martin Ellis police described Martin Ellis as the main pivot and the focus of their inquiry regarding Borynski's disappearance, and searched his home 3 times. The MI5 investigation regarded Martin Ellis as a man with a dubious reputation, and suggested possible complicity in Borynski's disappearance between Martin Ellis and Polish intelligence services. A police report described Martin Ellis as a shifty, untrustworthy individual who would stop at nothing to gain his own ends. Leaders of the Polish community in Bradford considered Martin Ellis responsible for the murder of Borynski. Martin Ellis was found to have purchased 60 pounds of caustic soda in the fortnight preceding Borynski's disappearance. A month after Borynski's disappearance, Martin Ellis was found collapsed at his home. Martin Ellis claimed that he had been visited by two men who ordered him to keep quiet. Priest Martin Ellis had no external injuries, and police declined to confirm that he had been attacked, but confirmed that they were not searching for an assailant. Martin Ellis later claimed the attack could have been an hallucination, aggravated by the trauma he had suffered in a Russian gulag during the Second World War. Martin Ellis died from a heart attack in 1955. Theories. In 1962, it was reported that assassin Bogdan Stashinsky had claimed that he had killed Borynski with a cyanide injection in a case of mistaken identity. It was claimed that he buried the body on Ilkley Moor. West German police, who held Stashinsky in custody at the time, dismissed the report as a fabrication. Bob Taylor, a retired British police detective, claimed on a 2003 edition of the BBC's Inside Out program that Borynski was murdered by the Polish secret police. Taylor claimed that Martin Ellis was involved with Polish agents in arranging Borynski's abduction, saying that Martin Ellis may have been told that this was the way to keep his old job and that he did not realize what he was getting involved in until it was too late. Taylor claimed that Catholic officials knew more than they disclosed to police in Bradford at the time. It was also suggested that Borynski was murdered by an overzealous member of Martin Ellis' congregation who wished to see the priest reinstated. This was the theory favored by the Bradford police. See also list of people who disappeared. References. External links. Madeleine Tien, the 29th of July 2013. The Strange Case of the Polish Cleric Who Vanished. CatholicHerald.co.uk. Retrieved the 17th of July 2017. BBC, Radio 4, Punt PI. The 16th of September 2017.